Welcome to our video and astrology chart for Independence Day, July 4th, celebrations 2020. The sun, represented by the Archangel Michael and the Egyptian gods Ra and Osiris, the vegetation sun god, will be in the sign of Cancer, the crab, creating an atmosphere very conducive to the joys of family life and a lot of pleasant banter about the themes of kitchens and meal preparation and home decorating. Okay, now the moon, symbolized by the Archangel Gabriel and the Egyptian goddess Hathor, is going to be dwelling in the sign of Sagittarius the Archer, and that focuses emotions on the meaning and path of one's life. The ascendant will be in Aries at midnight, and that's going to be 12 a.m. UTC, Universal Time Coordinated, first thing on July 4th, 2020, giving the Rams very vivacious energy and competitive edge to those involved in any kind of sports or any kind of games or gaming. We'll give you all the astrology angels, the astrology chart, also the planetary archangels, natural and hourly horoscope houses, zodiac houses, planetary aspects, ascendants, station, and much more coming up next. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. The Astrology Angel magic, which we teach, should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Now, July 4th is a holiday for the United States of America that commemorates July 4th in the year of 1776, when the United States of America completed the Declaration of Independence. Now, my daughter asked me about it, the occult meaning of the 4th of July, because my granddaughter heard about it. And so I'm going to go ahead and give everyone some info on this very intriguing subject. It's an exciting subject. The date of July 4th has very deep and profound occult meaning to Freemasons, because it celebrates and marks the yearly helical rising of the star Sirius. Also, it's also known as Sirius is also known as Canis Major, or the dog star, and this is what's represented by a lot of the occult meaning of things regarding the creation and the maintaining and the future of the United States of America. It was founded by Freemasons. George Washington was a Freemason, and it's all based on the Egyptian religion and the star Sirius, which is very important in the Egyptian life and in Egyptian religion, the ancient Egyptian religion. Now, in 1776, on July 4th, the helical rising of Sirius occurred. And the exact date of this astronomical event, it does vary each year. It's not the same every, it's not always on July 4th. It varies each year, though it does usually occur in either July or in August. And it represents the dog days of summer. So the dog star Sirius, Canis Major, the dog days of summer, because of its association again with Canis Major. So the time of this occurrence is usually, it's more than just one day long, really. And in July 4th in 1776, it was the beginning of that event, of that fatefully victorious year for the USA. The veneration of the helical rising of the star Sirius is a custom that goes all the way back to the ancient religion in ancient Egypt, because when Sirius, when it rises above the sun, when the star Sirius rises above the sun, okay, this signals the yearly flooding of the Nile River in Egypt, which brings life-giving irrigation and minerals to the thirsty farmlands along the Nile. Now, skyward, when we talk about this, the Egyptian goddess Sopdet, she's a goddess who has a star above her head, and she represents the star Sirius, as well as also the Egyptian god Anubis symbolizes the dog star. He's a jackal-headed god, or a dog-headed god. He also symbolizes the star Sirius, or called Canis Major, or the dog star. So he also represents that star. And Sopdet she does sport a star atop her head. Now, and again, Anubis is obviously associated because he has a jackal head or a dog head, yeah? So the dog star Sirius, the same thing. Now remember, the United States is based on Sirius, on that star, and its behavior, and this flooding of the Nile. And that happened in 1776 on July 4th, was the first day of that event. It lasts usually a few days. And there's also an earthbound Egyptian god named Hapi, who is lord of this yearly Nile River deluge. Okay? While goddess Sopdet is clearly feminine, the god Hapi appears androgynous, and he has like an artificial beard and large pendulous breasts, and he also has a round protruding stomach, and he wears a loincloth. Okay? Now, according to spiritualist Jacob Lorber's books written back in 1840 to about 1865, our sun, along with our entire solar system and other star systems as well, revolve around the binary star system of Sirius, making one orbit every 28,000 years. Okay, so the helical rising of the star Sirius is a yearly occurrence when Canis Major, or Sirius, is able to be viewed at dawn just previous to sunrise over the eastern horizon, following an interlude of less than 1 year when it has not been seen, when it has not been able to be seen. Now in 2020, this will occur during the 15th to the 16th of August. But we're talking about it now because we're dealing with the birthday of America, the United States of America, the 4th of July, when the first day of it was July 4th, whereas this year it will be August 15th, and it'll to the 15th to the 16th this year. Now, with the sun in Cancer on July 4th this year, the healing musical note in the ancient Western arrangement for the sign of Cancer the crab is the note of G. That's the healing musical note. And for with the moon in Sagittarius, the healing musical note in the ancient Western musical array for Sagittarius is F. Okay, that's the note F, the healing note of F. So remember, on July 4th, 2020, because we're celebrating the commemoration, the celebration on July 4th, the sun is going to be in Cancer and the moon is going to be in Sagittarius. Okay. Now, on Independence Day, also this year, we're using Universal Time Coordinated and Tropical Astrology at 12 a.m. early in the morning on July 4th. For the astrology chart that we've done, and the sun will be in Cancer, again the moon in Sagittarius. And Cancer is a cardinal water sign, and the elemental guardian archangel of water is Gabriel, also associated with Hathor, who presides over all the water signs. And Sagittarius is mutable fire, and the elemental guardian archangel of fire is Archangel Michael, or Osiris, can be used for fire. Also, you can use for fire, you can use Set. You can use Set, because he represents Mars, and he represents a fiery aspect for ruling over all the fire signs, okay? Now, at this time, so at 12 a.m. July, the morning of midnight, at July 4th, when it just turns into July 4th, when the sun is conjunct Mercury, while square Mars, sextile Uranus, and trine Neptune, intelligent and astonishing communication puts wind in the sails of your success, and it staves off competitors and keeps rivals at a distance. Also, Luna square Mars and Neptune brings subconscious wants and needs into play that could cause adversaries to use emotional ploys as they attempt to win before, during, and after sports events or even social gaming sessions. So it's going to not just be about sports, it's going to be about social gaming too. And Mercury conjunct the Sun, square Mars, and sextile Uranus add strong silent types into the mix to thwart contenders that possess superior communication skills. So strong silent types will sort of blow away the people that talk a lot or are good at rapping or talking too much. The strong silent types will do very well. Now, Venus sextile Mars allows men and women to cooperate together in limited arenas to further common purposes of society in general or of society at large. And Mars square the Sun, Moon, and Mercury, while sextile Venus and Saturn puts law enforcement and military on the side of family values and strict religious or secular systems to battle groups promoting loose social mores. So understand that the law enforcement is going to be on the side of strong social mores, whether it's secular or whether it's just prim and proper, or whether it's religious or spiritual. Okay. Now Jupiter conjunct Saturn and Pluto, while sextile Neptune rouses commotion over old-fashioned laws in preference of much more lenient policies, especially when it comes to the practices of spiritual systems. Saturn sextile Mars, while also conjunct Jupiter and Pluto, provides generously compassionate amendments to established laws and regulations, thus providing a situation that will be very helpful when it comes to reassuring that the use of civil disobedience is provided for in a safe manner that does not harm, disturb, nor inconvenience law-abiding citizens in any way, shape, or form. So social, civil disobedience has to be in a way that people who are law-abiding do not get harmed in any way, shape, or form. That's what's going to happen. And Uranus sextile the Sun and Mercury utilizes scare tactics and shocking imagery to sell self-help and personal success techniques. That's Uranus sextile Sun and Mercury. Okay. Now Neptune trine the Sun and square the Moon, while sextile Jupiter and Pluto distances emotional entanglements to promote wealth and abundance building revolutions. Okay. Pluto conjunct Jupiter and Saturn, while sextile Neptune causes an uprising of parental activism, parental activism that separates families and their children from systems and institutions traditionally considered to be nonconformist. So understand that parents are going to be against anything that seems anarchist or nonconformist, that isn't established or tried and true. So and remember, this is about this time on this day, this specific time on this specific day. Okay. Now the astrology chart that we have prepared for you, and we're going to bring it up a little closer for you. This chart, again, it's for Independence Day, July 4th at 12 a.m. and it's UTC, Tropical Astrology, and we have the precise time includes hourly astrology house calculations. And we're also including planetary aspects for you, ascendant, stations, natural houses, and horoscope houses associated with the planetary placements. Okay, so we're going to bring this in closer for you. And then we'll bring it even closer when we get into the planetary aspects. Okay? All right. So the Sun in Cancer at 12 degrees, 29 minutes in the 4th house, which is similar to the sign of Cancer of hearth, home, and family. Now the sign of Cancer, the crab, is akin to the natural 4th house of hearth, home, and family, and notice that we have a double dose of sentimentality. There's Cancer and in the 4th house, all about, because Cancer is associated with the 4th house. So we have a double dose of sentimentality and about family, homes, and meal preparation this Independence Day. So that'll be good for people that are like into having a barbecue or something like that, or making sure there's a lot of decorations for Independence Day. Now Cancer is akin to the natural 4th house, remember, and so we have the divine tone for Cancer, the crab, of I feel. It's all going to be about feelings, sentimentality, and emotions. And the planetary aspect is Michael. The Archangel Michael is a planetary association, the planetary Archangel Michael. We can also use Ra or Osiris for our sun god for this Egyptian-themed July 4th presentation, celebration. Visits habitation of Zodiac Angel Muriel of Cancer the Crab, and it's Michael for the sun, or Ra or Osiris. And we have the moon in the sign of Sagittarius the Archer at 27 degrees 14 minutes in the 9th house, which is analogous to the sign of Sagittarius of life, path, meaning. And Sagittarius is similar to the natural 9th house of life, path, meaning. Notice again that we have a double measure of searching for our own personal life path, because we have the 9th house and we have Sagittarius akin to the 9th house. I'll have a double measure of that, and the meaning of our contribution has to ourselves and to others this Independence Day, and what our path contributes to not only ourselves and to our life, but to society and to humankind and to the planet in general. Now, the Archer's divine tone is I perceive. Now, the planetary Archangel Gabriel, also associated with the Egyptian goddess Hathor, or also can be associated, the moon can also be associated with Anubis. Also, visits dwelling of Zodiac Angel Anakiel of Sagittarius. And we have Mercury, the planet Mercury retrograde in Cancer at 8 degrees and 4 minutes in the 3rd house, which is akin to the sign of Gemini, the twins of transportation and communication. Now, Cancer is analogous to the natural 4th house of hearth, home, and family. And we have Thoth, that is also can be used for Raphael of Mercury. You can use Thoth as well to visit the zodiac house of the zodiac angel Muriel of Cancer. And the crab's divine tone is I feel. So you have people having feelings about communications that they're getting and the transportation issues around their home and around their family, and they have feelings about it, strong feelings about it. And what the good news is that Thoth is all about the intellect, and that Archangel Raphael of Mercury, all about the intellect. And Mercury, Hermes Trismegistus, and Thoth of Atlantis, and Thoth of Egypt. So now we have Venus in Gemini at 6 degrees, 42 minutes in the 2nd house, which is similar to the sign of Taurus, the bull, of money and possession. So people's money, their cash, their moolah, and their possessions, what they own, what they hold dear, their property, whether it's people or things or property, what they hold dear. Now, Gemini is akin to the natural 3rd house of transportation and communication. So we have 2nd house issues of money and possessions coming into play with communication and transportation. So we have people wanting to, about buying cars, or about buying, drivers to drive them from point A to point B, or we have people about how they're going to communicate and get their message across to other people, and if they have to put money into getting their message out, getting their message across. Okay, so that's what that has to do with. And we have the twins' divine tone, because Venus in Gemini is I think. Gemini, it's I think is the divine tone. And planetary Archangel Anael of Venus is similar to Osiris, the god Osiris, and visits habitation of Zodiac Angel Umbriel of Gemini. Umbriel of Gemini. Now we also have Mars, the planet Mars, in Aries at 3 degrees 32 minutes in the 12th house, which is analogous to the sign of Pisces, the fish of spirituality. Now, Aries is similar to the natural 1st house of self and appearances. So what that does is that takes a person, and they say, okay, so how does my religion or my spiritual system or my lack thereof or my atheism, whatever you're into, how does that make me appear to myself? What kind of a person am I? And what kind of a person do other people think I am because of my spiritual, religious, or secular beliefs or scientific beliefs? What that's going to be, what do I think of myself and what do other people think of me? Mars in Aries at 3 degrees, 32 minutes in the 12th house. And the ram's divine tone is I am. I am. Planetary seraphim Samael of Mars, who is also similar to the Egyptian god Set, one of my favorite Egyptian gods, Set, a very powerful god indeed, visits the dwelling of zodiac angel Makizuru of Aries. Okay, now remember Mars and Aries. Remember Mars rules Aries, so the Setian influences and the martial influences and the Samael, the seraphim Samael, those influences will be very powerful on this 4th of July. Okay, now Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn at 23 degrees 39 minutes in the 10th house, which is akin to the sign of Capricorn, the goat of social standing and fame, popularity and status. Okay, Capricorn is analogous to the natural 10th house of social standing and fame. So notice again, we are given a double amount again of strength and increase for improving our clout and popularity this 4th of July. The goat's divine tone is I use. I use, I utilize, I use. What good is something if you don't use it? Okay? And planetary archangel Sachiel of Jupiter is associated with the goddess Isis. And Isis, some people think that this is Isis. It's actually really more Hathor, because Isis usually appears with a vulture on her head. She's usually standing with a vulture crown or a throne crown on her head. But some people say that Isis and Hathor are the same. But this is actually Hathor. So we might be getting a standing Isis statue with a vulture head or thorn headdress in the near future, I hope. And we have Sachiel, or Isis, visiting the abode of zodiac angel Hanael of Capricorn. So Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn. We have then Saturn retrograde in Capricorn at 29 degrees 51 minutes in the 10th house, which is similar to the sign of Capricorn, of social standing and fame. Capricorn, akin to the natural 10th house of your social standing and your fame. So notice that we are given again a double quantity of power, okay, and amplification for bettering our influence and recognition on this 4th of July. The goat's divine tone is I use, or I utilize. Planetary archangel Cassiel of Saturn, similar to the goddess Ma'at. Notice Ma'at has a feather. That makes her Ma'at, okay? Goddess associated with Saturn, the 42 laws of Ma'at, which then became the 10 commandments. All the gods and goddesses of Egypt became the archangels for the Judeo-Christian religion, and then all the 10 commandments comes from the 42 laws of Ma'at. Go read the 42 laws of Ma'at. You'll see that's where the 10 commandments originally came from. Okay, that's where the Ark of the Covenant came from. They took it from Egypt. And it originally had two goddesses on the top, two winged goddesses. And then they turned it into two cherubs, or cherubim. But originally, because remember, Moses was an Egyptian prince. He brought the technology from Egypt, and he brought it out when he left. So remember, it comes from Egypt. Okay, it comes from the Egyptian religion. Very important. All right, so understand that this 4th of July, we have a lot of double whammies. Okay? There were a lot of them. I've never seen this many before so far that I've been doing these astrology videos. I haven't seen a day with so many of those kinds of double doses of all those planets and aspects in those signs. Okay, it's going to be very powerful 4th of July. Now, Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. Again, Ma'at, and we have Hanael. Now, then we have Uranus, and the planet Uranus in Taurus at 9 degrees 57 minutes in the 1st house, which is analogous to the sign of Aries, of self and appearances. How do I appear? How do I appear to others? Taurus is similar to the natural 2nd house of money and possessions. The bull's divine tone is I have. What do I have? Planetary archangel Ariel visits dwelling of zodiac angel Asmodel. Now, Ariel is A-U-R-I-L, not Uriel. Uriel is that earth angel. Ariel is for Uranus alone. And also, it's important to understand that when we have Taurus, Uranus and Taurus, and we have in the 1st house, which is similar to Aries, we've got my money and my possessions. And how does that make me appear to myself? And how does that make me appear to other people? Okay? So that's how that's going to affect you. Now, Neptune retrograde in Pisces at 20 degrees 55 minutes in the 12th house, which is akin to the sign of Pisces of spirituality. Now, Pisces is analogous to natural 12th house of spirituality. Notice again, we are given a double dose of potency and energy for boosting our authority and self-esteem this Independence Day. Spirituality, again. So we're getting a double dose of spirituality with Pisces, okay? 12th house, Pisces. Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So authority, and it's going to boost our authority and our self-esteem this Independence Day because of our spiritual natures. So the Fisher's divine tone is I believe. What do you believe in? I believe. Remember, Christ said, I will make you fishers of men in the age of Pisces. And Christ said that make you fishers of men. And also, do you believe in Christ? It's all about belief because it's the age of Pisces. And actually, mutable Earth is right across in astrology from mutable water Pisces, Virgo Pisces, and his mother was a Virgo the Virgin. It's completely astrology. It's going to the age of Aquarius. On the opposite side is Leo. And it's about fire and air. And Leo's I will, and Aquarius is I know. So it's a different aspect we're coming into at the age of Aquarius. And Maitreya, the avatar of the age of Aquarius. Now, planetary archangel Asariel of Neptune, which is similar to the Egyptian goddess Nuit. I don't have a statue, but I have a picture. I have a lot of Egyptian pictures. The goddess Nuit. Okay, Asariel, like Neptune, and visits abode of zodiac angel Int'l of Pisces. Int'l of Pisces. Now, Pluto retrograde in Capricorn at 24 degrees 1 minute in the 10th house, which is similar to the sign of Capricorn, social standing and fame. Capricorn is akin to the natural 10th house of social standing and fame. Notice that we are given another double measure of fortitude and gain for advancing our high position and our celebrity this 4th of July. This is going to be a powerful 4th of July with all these double whammies. Look how many there have been. I've never seen anything like this. It's going to be very powerful. You can really boost your celebrity, and you can really boost your position, your high position on this day. The goat's divine tone is I utilize. Planetary archangel Azrael. Also, Pluto is associated with Anubis, or Azrael, Anubis. Visits habitation of zodiac angel Hanael of Capricorn, Anubis. And remember, this is a celebration of the heliacal rising of Sirius, the dog star Sirius, or Anubis, Canis Major, the dog star. And Sopdet, the goddess with the star on her head. And the god Happy, the happy god of fertility, with all of the androgynous god. And we have the fertile Nile River making the land fertile with the annual flooding of the Nile because of Sirius, the star Sirius, heralding that. Okay, now the North Node retrograde in Gemini at 28 degrees 26 minutes in the 3rd house, which is analogous to the sign of Gemini of transportation and communication. Gemini is similar to the natural 3rd house of transportation and communication, even with the North Node. Even with the North Node, again, we are given a double measure again of methods and systems with which to enable our ability to visit and communicate with one another this Independence Day. Again, another one. It's going to be powerful, so hold on to your hats because it's going to be very, very powerful. Okay. Now the twins' divine tone is I think. Okay. Planetary archangel Gabriel rules over Luna, and zodiac angel Umbriel presides over the sign of Gemini, the twins. Since the north and south nodes of the moon are always retrograde, in that the 12 zodiacal signs are visited in an anti-clockwise direction, this causes a yearning for the transportation and communication systems of yesteryear, and also a need to upgrade our networks and our abilities in these areas. We're going to feel like we need to upgrade these things. Now, Gemini is an intelligent, imaginative, clever, quick-thinking, cheerful, and entertaining sign, so it'll be fun to learn and teach others all about new and exciting ways to communicate and transport people and goods, while the moon's true node is in Gemini. The hourly house calculations for the north node, we chose 12 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated for the hourly house calculations on July 4th, 2020. And we have, this is going to reveal third house qualities of transportation and communication. So our hourly house calculations show the third house qualities of transportation and communication, akin to the sign of Gemini, mutable air, the twins, for the north node. Now this places the south node in the ninth house, which attributes analogous to the sign of Sagittarius, the mutable fire, the archer of life path meeting. Now, since our hourly house calculations are the same as the monthly calculations this month, again, with another double whammy, at midnight on July 4th this year, it means midnight in the morning of, as we a.m., we shall not repeat the astrological formula information that is given in the monthly natural horoscope health calculation section. So usually we give you both of those, but since this time they're both exactly the same, we're not going to repeat ourselves, but it's going to be a very powerful third house transportation and communication. Understand that, okay? Very powerful. And the retrograde north node, that's going to all be about learning about that, okay? And then we have Sagittarius, about our life path meaning. Now, regarding the monthly issues, we're just going to go over the monthly issues because, again, the hourly is going to be exactly the same. This month only. Well, I don't know. I might do that again, but I'm just saying for now. And it's the hourly house calculations that give us the houses, okay? The hourly calculation. Now, when referring to this month's placement of north and south node, being that of the north node in Gemini and the south node in Sagittarius, the archer, it becomes entertaining for people to be trained and to coach others and to think faster, to help them to think faster and to coach them to be able to be more innovative and quick regarding communicating and thinking for business services or just for enjoyment, really, and how to transport merchandise, produce, animals, or people from point A to point B. Now, Gemini is analogous to the natural third house of transportation and communication with the divine tone of I think, and Sagittarius similar to the ninth house of life path meaning, having the divine tone of I perceive. The north node represents the individual's path in this current incarnation, and the south node corresponds to one's past incarnations. The astrological formula for Gemini, the twins, north node, present incarnation, and Sagittarius, the archer, south node, past lifetime, is that a person who is able to recognize vast and profound truths and dimensions in their previous incarnations will now in this lifetime be taught how to enjoy the amusements and the interests of this current existence. Now, the ascendant is in the first house in Aries at 28 degrees 19 minutes. The 12th house stretches from 0 degrees 35 minutes in Pisces to 28 degrees 19 minutes in Aries. So we're going to bring it a little closer for you here. Okay, the first house from Pisces into Aries, from 0 degrees. The first house will encompass from 28 degrees 19 minutes Aries here, okay, to 3 degrees 25 minutes Gemini is going to be for the first house. So again, the 12th house, again, the 12th house is going to stretch from 0 degrees Pisces here, okay, to 28 degrees 19 minutes Aries here, okay. And then we have it marked, and you can look, we're going to have also, because some of this is actually upside down, we have Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel on Facebook. We're going to have the charts. You can look in the description box and click on it, and it'll bring you to the chart. And the Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel Facebook show you the chart, that blog, specifically for the planetary aspects and for, you can see it up close and personal. And also, if you want to go to Readings by Rosemary on Facebook blog, that's going to give you in writing everything that we're saying here, the blog portion of it. Okay, so now that was the 12th house. Now for the first house encompasses from 28 degrees 19 minutes Aries 28 degrees 19 minutes Aries here, almost at the end of Aries, to 3 degrees 25 minutes Gemini. So at the end, almost the end of Aries to the beginning of Gemini. Okay, and you can see I have it marked off here because of some of the conjunctions and that kind of thing. Okay, so the conjunctions occur in astrology when two planets are very close together at an orb of 8 degrees or less, placing them in the same zodiac sign or into the same astrology house or both. One or the other or both. So zodiac signs are always comprised of 30 degrees. Each sign is comprised of 30 degrees, while astrology houses are not always 30 degrees. Rather, they vary, some being less and some being more, or some being less. Okay, so the houses vary in size each time. Now, we're going to go over now the planetary aspects for you. We have the Sun in Cancer, the crab, in the 4th house, conjunct Mercury in Cancer, which is in the 3rd house. So here the Cancer's in the 3rd house and the Sun's in the 4th house, but they're both in Cancer, so it's a conjunction. That's an example. Now we also have the Sun square Mars. So we have the Sun in Cancer square on the red line Mars in Aries. And we also have the Sun in Cancer sextile on the green line Uranus. And Uranus is in Taurus. And we have Sun trine Neptune. So we have the Sun in Cancer on the blue line trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Now next we have the Moon square Mars. So we have the Moon in Sagittarius, square on the red line Mars in Aries. And we have the Moon in Sagittarius, square on the red line Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Retrograde in Pisces. And we have Mercury in Cancer in the 3rd house, conjunct the Sun, again in Cancer, in the 4th house. And we have Mercury in Cancer, square on the red line Mars in Aries. And we have Mars here in Aries. We have Mercury square Mars. So we have Mercury in Cancer square on the red line Mars in Aries. And we have also Mercury sextile Uranus. We have Mercury in Cancer on the green line, sextile Uranus in Taurus. Uranus in Taurus, the bull. We also have Venus sextile Mars. So Venus in Gemini, Venus direct at this time, Venus direct in Gemini is going to be sextile on the green line Mars in Aries. Mars in Aries is very powerful, and Venus in Gemini. Okay, and we have also Mars square the Sun. So we have Mars in Aries, square on the red line the Sun in Cancer. We have Mars square the Moon. Mars in Aries, on the red line square the Moon in Sagittarius, and Mars will be in Aries on the red line square Mercury in Cancer, and Mars will be sextile on the green line Venus in Gemini, and Mars will be sextile on the green line Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn in Capricorn, and Saturn will be retrograde in Capricorn. All right, we also have Jupiter in Capricorn retrograde in the 10th house, conjunct in the same Capricorn, also Capricorn in the 10th house. So Saturn and Jupiter both in Capricorn and both in the 10th house conjunct. And we will have Jupiter, it's going to be retrograde in Capricorn, sextile on the green line Neptune retrograde in Pisces, and Jupiter in Capricorn in the 10th house conjunct Pluto, also in the 10th house in Capricorn. So Jupiter and Pluto as well in the 10th house, both in the 10th house, both in Capricorn. We have Saturn sextile Mars. So we have Saturn retrograde on the green line sextile Mars in Aries. And we have Saturn retrograde in Capricorn in the 10th house, conjunct Jupiter retrograde in the Capricorn in the 10th house, and also Saturn in the 10th house in Capricorn, conjunct Pluto in Capricorn in the 10th house. And these are all Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter will all be retrograde on the 4th of July, first thing in the morning, first thing right when it turns AM. So Uranus sextile Saturn, we have Uranus in Taurus, sextile on the green line, excuse me, that's not Saturn, sextile the Sun on the green line in Cancer, excuse me. So Uranus sextile the Sun, Uranus in Taurus on the green line, sextile the Sun in Cancer. Okay. And also we have Uranus sextile Mercury. So Uranus in Taurus, sextile on the green line, Mercury retrograde in Cancer. Now Neptune is going to be trine the Sun. So we have Neptune retrograde in Pisces on the blue line, trine the Sun in Cancer. And we have Neptune square the Moon. So Neptune retrograde in Pisces on the red line, square the Moon in Sagittarius. And we have Neptune sextile Jupiter. Neptune retrograde in Pisces on the green line, sextile Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn. And we have Neptune sextile Pluto. So Neptune retrograde in Pisces on the green line is going to be sextile Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. And Pluto retrograde in Capricorn in the 10th house, conjunct Jupiter in Capricorn in the 10th house. And Pluto will also be conjunct Saturn in Pluto, both also in the 10th house in Capricorn. And Pluto will be sextile on the green line, it'll be retrograde in Capricorn on the green line, sextile Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Okay, so we have, again, Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter in Capricorn, all retrograde and in those conjunctions. Now please see our video entitled Tropical Astrology versus Sidereal Astrology, which is more accurate, for information about that. And also, it gives you that video, Tropical Astrology versus Sidereal Astrology, which is more accurate, gives you a very in-depth look at the various arguments comparing the validity of tropical, sidereal, and also Vedic astrology. It also takes a looky at the new systems of the 13th sign astrology and the constellational astrology. Constellational astrology is based on, these are based on points in space that could have been called anything. Could have been called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Could have been called anything. There are 30 degrees just marked off in space that it's like we put a grid, yeah? But the constellational astrology, but it's based on the constellations that they're close to. But the constellational astrology is actually the real constellations, because they're not all the same size, and it's based on those specifically. So that's a very intriguing astrology, I think. Now, information found in this document is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I have committed to memory. And please like and tap the bell for notifications, share, subscribe, and make friendly comments. And thank you for joining us, and please join us again.